a monster.
I'm your number one fan.
Now clear your minds. Knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
It's been informed that zombies have entered the building. They're at the door. They're coming in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Midnight Monster Corner podcast. I'm your host as always, Corey, and alongside me is my good pal, Tony. What's going on, brother?
Not much, bud. How you been?
It's been going good. Hopefully it won't cut off this time.
Right? Third time's the charm.
Yeah. We're having some technical difficulties tonight, people.
Yeah, Skype is being a fickle bitch tonight.
Yeah. Yep. Finicky fucker.
Finicky as hell. We're going to power through it and try to see if we can't get us a good rockin' episode out tonight.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun one. I'm excited about this one.
What's at the start of?
So I guess we're going to get straight into it. We're going to kickstart off our annual summer slasher series, and we're doing it tonight. And we're doing it in style. We're doing a roulette episode tonight. So
Yeah. We're going ass backwards on this one.
Right, yeah, we're kicking it off backwards, but you know what? We're kicking it off in true style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't done a roulette episode in a while. Actually, honestly, I was thinking about doing a roulette episode, and then you were like, "Man, I miss doing the roulette episodes," and I was like, "Oh, perfect time to just suggest it."
Perfect time, yeah, because it's been a while since we did. I can't even remember what the last one was we did.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
Killer animals, I believe.
Been that long? Damn.
I think so.
Wow. Yeah, so we definitely needed to revisit the roulette format, and I'm so excited that we are currently doing that now. Maybe we could pump out a couple roulette episodes this coming up month, man. I don't know. It should be...
I mean, I'm game for it because what are the odds out of the millions of slasher films that have been made that we pick the same one?
Yeah, we pick the same one because we'll preference this by telling the audience that we do not tell each other what we're going to watch. We kind of save the surprise for when we start to record and when we start to get into these films. So there's always a good chance that me and him could think very similarly and grab the same film and do a discussion on it. So we're kind of like kicking out that idea, like maybe that could happen and that would be something. But I do have a list of films that I do have lined up for the summer slasher series that I wanted to cover just on their own. So if we do the format of a roulette episode a couple times, then that'll give me a chance to really get these films watched and get these films out there for some are newer, like very, very, very new. So this would be kind of intriguing for the audience to check out some really new stuff that possibly could be on a streaming service. So it's interesting. It's a good idea that we can kick around, but we'll definitely get more into that too when me and Corey kind of get our heads together on it and come up with a plan. But yeah, it's definitely an option as of right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm kind of that way. Like I when we do the roulette episodes, I tend to go to the streaming services because it's easier for other people, whereas we collect physical media, but the next person might not, so it's a way for them to ultimately watch a film with us in a sense.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Or a good way for us, if we do recommend a film, for them to check it out, preferably on maybe Tubi or something where they don't have to pay. They can just get on and watch it straight out. Not have to worry about signing up for anything or doing any of that nonsense. But yeah, very good.
And the other reason why I love doing these also is for the simple fact that I lost my train of thought actually.
Okay, buddy, happens to the best of us.
I need sleep. But I do like doing these roulette episodes Oh, what I was going to say is because we don't go into full detail with these films, so we don't spoil them as much as we do regular reviews. So in a way, it's kind of like we're somewhat spoiling it, but we're not giving it all away.
Right.
So that way, the audience member or the audience could possibly go watch that film afterwards too. So that's what I like about doing these roulette episodes too.
But that also makes it kind of challenging in a way for us not to be able to kind of skate around the fact that we don't want to spoil too much, so we don't really know exactly how much to let out or how much to get out. So yeah, it makes it kind of more challenging on us too, for but in a good way. Like it makes it more intriguing and more fun to kind of get into discussion without actually spoiling the complete plot or whatever it may be. For the listeners out there, if they do want to take a chance on these films that we talk about, which we hope, regardless of the fact if we, really, really are down on it or really, really are high on it, they're really intriguing, and a listener out there could possibly really like a movie that maybe me and you aren't too interested in or something like that. So just talking about the films in general will get them out there in the public and stuff like that would be beneficial. So.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, before we kick this off, folks, make sure you head over to our Facebook group. We seem to be getting some good buzz from there, and we would like for that to continue. So make sure you head over there. Make sure you tell your friends also, and just like, share, and subscribe our episodes if you will. We do appreciate it. We've had a couple. I've had a couple conversations on somebody chimed in and started commenting on our Cujo episode actually the other day, which I thought was awesome. And he was actually throwing out fun facts that he knew about the film, and it was like, oh, that's neat, So it was really cool engaging with people. So folks, I love engaging and interacting with you. So please don't hesitate if you want to voice your opinion on a film that we reviewed, put the comment out there. I see it. It pops up. I am starting to get notifications, finally. So, so hopefully I can, I'll actually see your comments and be able to comment back or even tell you thank you for commenting on a video and stuff. So we really do love the involvement and the engagement from you guys. So keep it up. I mean, you guys are what's keeping us going and rolling. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We love engaging with you guys, talking with you guys about movies. That's what we're all about. That's what we have fun doing. So if we can do more of that, we're always happy with it. Like Corey said, please don't hesitate. Don't feel like you're not going to be heard or you're not going to be seen, because we definitely will. We'd love to have your opinions on these movies that we cover or we talk about. It's always good to get even similar opinions or different opinions. It's always fun. At the end of the day, we're not assholes that are gonna tell you you're wrong for your opinion. No, we realize everybody has an opinion. We respect everybody's opinion, but it'll also open up a good discussion, which we're all about. So, absolutely, for sure, man. If you can get those comments out there for us, let us check it. Let us check them out, and we'll start an engaging conversation with you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, and real quick, the comment that was left. Was they were talking about, I forget the person's name on there, but he was talking about how they were using a robotic dog to smack into the car with. I was like, that's pretty interesting, actually. So, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but it was pretty cool. That's definitely an interesting idea. I could see that being practical effects too. So. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was the high practical effects, so that makes perfect sense if it is the case. So yeah, that's cool though, man. Check that out. I'm gonna check that out.
Definitely.
I wish I had notifications like that on them.
I can get you on the YouTube studio. That way you can get the notifications and you can kind of engage too.
Yeah, because obviously, man, I want to engage with the audience too, the fans. I want to be there for them and talk to them and just go, just talk about movies. That's what we do. We have fun doing.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I'll see about setting you up with that then.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. All right. So, well, we've got two films here. We don't know what they are.
Don't know what they are.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
It's up to you, man. I'm good with whatever.
I can go first.
That works.
I know it's killing you here.
Yeah, I'm just eager with anticipation. I want to know what you watched.
All right. So it is on Tubi, and it's from 2019. Huh?
It's a newer one.
It is a newer one.
More
It is a
retro,
newer one.
more modern one. So
So the what sold me on it was the cover art immediately. I was like, and the title. I was like, oh, that's just screaming 80s to me. Maybe it's like an 80s throwback film. It was not. It's a film called Death Rink.
oh my god. Oh my god. Yes. I know exactly. Okay. All right.
Have you seen this film?
Yes, I have. It's been a hot minute, but I remember. Yeah.
All right, so short synopsis of this film. You've got a small group of young teenagers with one guy who looks to be like 30 portraying an 18-year-old or something. Anyways, so it's this young group of kids, and they work in a skating ring with their manager and the security guard, Mike, who takes his job way too fucking seriously, apparently.
That part, yeah.
So basically, they're getting harassed by a strange phone caller, right? Who uses several different payphones to call in, which is odd to them. And he just constantly calls in and says Satan, and then hangs up the phone. So the film is based around a subplot, I guess you would say, where a young boy who was he? I can't remember. Was he handicapped or mentally challenged or something? No, he suffered from like seizures or whatever. Well, while he was there, the strobe lights fucked with him. Guess what happened? He died. Well, his babysitter blamed herself, and she ended up going out of the picture. Next thing you know, as it's closing time, the horny teenagers are getting picked off one by one in this place. And long story short, you have a masked killer slasher villain, and there's your movie. I liked all the nice little touches in this film. I noticed at one point in time when I don't know if she's the manager of the place. What's her name? Rachel, I think.
Older lady, yeah.
Yeah, she's like an older lady who the 18-year-old has a crush on her or something and wants to bone her. But yeah, so I noticed though that the office scene, there was a couple times it's like the camera would point down at the desk, and I noticed there was like Blockbuster cards sitting there, and I was like, oh, that's a cool touch. I'm gonna write that down. Some of the kills actually were not bad. You could definitely tell that there was a lot of I wouldn't call them inspirations, more so than ripoffs. I don't know. I guess in the director or screenplay writer's eyes, maybe it was paid homage. I'm not sure, but there was definitely a scene where a girl got choked out with a telephone cable. Halloween. Let's see what was some of the other ones. There was one really cool kill where the girl was in the kitchen or whatever, and the killer came up. And that's the thing. The killer was wearing everything that was found in Lost and Found, including an alien mask. And it was like, okay, so it has to be one of these teenagers. Well, right away, I ended up picking up on the storyline. And as soon as they started talking about the young boy that died, and then no one knew what happened to the babysitter, I just kind of assumed that that was the manager, and she was killing off these kids. And long story short, that was the case. So I guessed it pretty early on. It was either Mike, the security guard who went home early and then got knocked out in an alleyway, or or it was the manager, which like I said, I guessed that right. But the scene in the kitchen was a girl cleaning the kitchen, and that's the thing. They thought that everyone was just kind of playing a prank on them, so they wouldn't take the killer too seriously, and the killer would just stand there silent, and then literally took a pizza cutter and just sliced her throat with it. I thought it was really cool because it looked pretty realistically, actually. Just she like grabbed at her throat and there was like a slit and blood just pouring out and then blood coming out of her mouth. And for a lower budget film, I mean, I'm guessing this is a lower budget film. That was actually a really cool effect. I must say that it's got props. But the at one point in time, suddenly no one could find her. Her name was Kira, and no one could find her anymore. And her friends were like, "Where is she? She's supposed to be in here cleaning this kitchen." They're all standing around this pool of blood that's on the floor, and they were like, "Yeah, she needs to come clean up. She's got a mess to clean up here."
Hilarious, man.
Oh man, it's so stupid. At one point, the security guard had thrown away some marijuana that he had confiscated from two teenagers, and they were like, "Why'd you throw that away? That would have been good to smoke." And so they were like, "You know what? We're gonna find something to smoke." So they literally went to the kitchen, found tea bags, rolled it up in straw wrapping paper, and smoked them.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's fucking stupid." And then the one guy's like, "If it's smokable, I'd smoke it."
With a 35-year-old?
Yeah, yeah. Looked like he was 35, but he was portraying an 18-year-old. I don't know how old he was actually, but he did have some wrinkly skin going on, and I was like, this guy's way older than 18. He should not be hanging around these kids.
Definitely not.
At what point is this inappropriate? But I don't know. I was hoping for a lot more elaborate kills in this movie. I mean, sky's the limit. You don't have many slasher films that take place in a skating ring, so you would kind of hope for something a little bit more. I guess I was going at it kind of like Gutterball. That approach. Like you could find some elaborate kills and fuck people up in this skating rink, but it just didn't really happen.
This doesn't really live up to the potential of all
No.
be done in a skating rink or a slasher film.
Right. Like somebody like cleaning the floor, the killer could have like skated by real quick with a knife or something. Just that would have been cool as shit. I would have loved to see that. Something like that. But instead we got the killer who walks up to a girl going, and then she's just like put, and then kills her. And it's like, what the fuck? You just shanked her.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So it was bad. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like the music behind it was good. I did like the music. It was fitting. You got that feel of a grimy skating ring, which I dug because I grew up in a small town at one point, and we had a skating ring, and it was like the most disgusting, nastiest place you could possibly be. And parents would just dump their fucking kids off at this place and leave. It was bad. So I got that feel kind of from my childhood, I don't know, just overall, with that being said, just like I said, practical effects, some of it was good, some of it was like awful. It was terrible. It could have been well written. Some of the actors, you definitely tell they've been acting for a minute, and maybe they needed to pursue their acting career a little bit more. Some of them, you kind of hope they just
retire. Just stop.
Well, it was the young ones. That's the bad thing. Like the older ones in the film weren't bad, but it was the young ones where it was like, you're not good,
Maybe this is the career choice for you.
There was these two girls who were constantly bickering at one another.
I was gonna bring that up. That's the one thing I remember from the movie. It's just chicks like constantly fighting with each other all the time. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. The one girl's like, my car won't start, and the other girl's like, well, maybe because you're a fucking whore. And it's like, where did that even come from?
But that just kept going and kept
Throughout
going.
the entire movie.
It was
I
weird.
can't seem to find her. Well, she's probably blowing some guy.
Yeah,
What?
they would just like rag on each other the whole time. So
it was so terrible. I was like, what the fuck? Why did, like, honestly, the storyline, I don't know, because like at one point you do find out that the one girl who is constantly bickering about the other girl, and I forget their names, honestly. I know the one girl that's like a skanky slut, or portrayed as a skanky slut in the film or whatever. Her name's Alicia. I do know that. But apparently the other girl's boyfriend, who works there as well, apparently had a thing with the skanky slut or whatever. And it came out, and he was like, don't tell her. That was a failed opportunity, because at some point in the movie that could have been brought up, and that would have made something happen a little bit more there, but it just didn't. And it literally was something that was mentioned and died off. And that was it.
Yeah, so really like another missed opportunity.
It really was.
It really was. I remember watching it. I did call who the killer was. Did see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
I watched this movie. God, I want to say. Oh, it's been a minute. I saw it before. Pretty much the same way you did, man. I was just on Amazon Prime, and I saw the cover. I was like, this looks interesting.
It draws you in.
Yeah, the cover draws you in. It's very colorful. It's very like I said, I totally had the same impression that this is a throwback 80s like film, and that they're going to do something in that vein. But no, I was completely surprised by the fact that they didn't even. I mean, it just took place during modern time, I guess. I mean, I don't think it was. Yeah, it definitely wasn't 80s or anything like that, but it was. Yeah, it definitely not what I expected when I checked it out, and that's what happens, though, man. The covers will draw you in, and I got sucked in the same way. I the exact same thing. I was like, oh, this looks cool, and it takes place in a skating rink. That's a different location, and I'm kind of for it. I like that. I mean, I'm a big fan of gutter balls, so thinking of what could be in a skating rink, that would be interesting. And I wanted to kind of know what the killer was going to look like, what the getup was going to be. It was going to be a masked killer. It was going to be an unmasked killer. I was really, really curious about that, as I am with most slasher films, of course. But yeah, I remember them. I remember watching this one, and no lie, man, I hated this film. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I had a miserable time watching it, and I don't say that very often, but this one just did not speak to me.
Well, at one point, I mean, it does follow the criteria of a slasher film. I will say that. It's got your first initial shots setting up of who is what throughout the film, so it sets you up to meet all the characters, and then you meet your red herring, Mike, because she's like, oh, go on home. So right away, because you kind of know the storyline by reading the synopsis, you're like, okay, so it takes place there, and literally it says that the teenagers get picked off one by one. Yeah. As it's closing time, and it's like, okay, so then she sends Mike home, the security guard, and he's like, are you sure you don't want me to stay and protect you guys? And she's like, no, go ahead, go on home. So right away you're thinking he's the guy, he's the killer. Well, then he gets knocked out in the alleyway, but then later on it's revealed that after the thing is they should have revealed it before they revealed the killer. That they revealed the killer, and then they were like, I thought you went home, Mike. And he's like, oh yeah, some kids jumped me in the alleyway, knocked me out.
Yeah.
Those two potheads.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's the whole thing. Like if they had brought him in before they introduced the killer, you would have still thought it was him at first, That would have confused me a little bit to make me try and figure out real quick who the killer was, because my mindset was pretty much done. I knew who the killer was, you know. But
Well,
then there's the but then there's
it also doesn't make any sense from the killer's point of view, because if we know who the killer is, we know what they're doing. Why didn't the killer just look? Why didn't he just go home and that just happened? Why just let him go home? I mean, if you know the guy's a security guard and you're going to knock him out, but not like secure him and make sure he doesn't get out or he's not able to escape or whatever, it seems like a missed opportunity as well.
that's again, I think it was genuinely the two boys or whatever. I mean, you don't see that happen. You see the eyes of just one person attack him in the alleyway, which I thought was very funny, because they pick up this little chain off of a dumpster, and it's literally like the gauge of the chain links are small, right? This is like a very almost like a dog lanyard chain. And then when they throw the chain down beside him, it's like this huge fucking chain. It's like, what the fuck? That thing grew. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I had fun with it, but I didn't at the same time, because there was at one point you were watching these teenagers smoke these tea bags. You were watching these teenagers drink. You were watching these teenagers sit and hang out and joke and laugh with one another. And it was like, this is a lot of shit that just honestly didn't need to be there. You know,
it was tedious.
I like that it was trying to, it was almost like they were trying too hard to develop these characters in the short amount of time of this film, but it really didn't need it. Especially if they were just going to kill literally everyone off in this film. and literally that happened. Like, there was, at one point, the survivor was going to be it broke a rule. Survivor guy. It was a young man that was going to survive. And she was going to allow him to survive to help with the story, because all she wanted was the skating ring to close down.
Yeah.
That's it. And again, that goes back to Friday the 13th, right? Because they didn't want the camp to open back up, or Jason didn't want the camp to open back up, right? So I mean, it's just it's a similar storyline, really. But I mean, I get it. You know, it's a slasher film. It is what it is, and it's a B slasher film at that, like a B movie. I don't know. I left it with a 2-star rating.
Okay.
And that's being generous.
That's
comes down to some of the practical effects were cool. Some of the acting really wasn't that bad. The location was actually pretty neat. I like the fact that it was shot in one location, and it was pretty cool. And for it to be a skating ring, it really wasn't that dark in some of the scenes, which I like.
Yeah.
So lighting was good in it. And like I said, the music behind everything was decent. Just some of the acting was terrible, and ultimately storyline could have been better. It could have been better edited, in my opinion. The ending of the film is just her, I don't know, jumping at the camera or something. And then that was the end of the film. And it's like, oh, that happened abruptly.
And
so yeah, so there's my review on Death Rink from 2019, folks. And
great name as well from
it is a really, and that was another thing that drew me in. And honestly, if I was blind buying, I would buy the shit out of this film.
I would have too.
You know,
if I saw this out and about, I would have definitely picked it up.
I might still pick it up.
Yeah. Well,
because it is a really cool cover. I like it.
I'm a slasher purist, so I have to pick up every slasher I ever see. So I definitely pick it up too, even though I did not enjoy this one. I gave it a 1 star. I remember that. I gave it a 1 star.
Wow.
That's probably one of the lowest I've ever given. I don't think I've ever given a half star for it. Oh boy. There's one movie in particular that is a slasher movie that now thinking about it, I gave it a 1 star. I should turn around and give it a half star, because there's no redeeming qualities whatsoever in that movie. Terrible. But yeah, that's one I remember watching the same exact way, man. Amazon Prime, saw it, Death Rink, cool cover. I'm all about it. Let me check it out. Then I find out it's a slasher film. I'm like, yeah, gotta check it out.
So if you want to watch this shitty movie, in our opinion,
Right.
head over to Tubi, and apparently it's on Amazon Prime as well.
I think I saw it on Amazon.
Sorry, I ruined it for you.
Might have been on Tubi. I don't know. Like sometimes the quality I get from Tubi to Amazon Prime, I get mixed up on the movies I see because some of the movies seem to overlap. So, but yeah, either way, you can definitely check it out, and if you want to,
Let us know if you watch this film and fast forward through all the bullshit and straight to the killing at the end, and see if that makes it a better experience.
yeah. There's a good bit of it that drags. I do remember that.
Yeah, and it's not a long film by no means. I think it was like an hour and 15 minutes. I think.
Film. Oh yeah.
This film, the way it was written and everything, and shot, I think it would have done well as a short film.
Oh yeah, 100%. Would have made a lot more sense. I agree with that.
It is what it is, and I'm not a fan of short films too much. Like I like to sit down and engage with a film for a while. So, but if it's a short film that's done really well, then I like it. You've introduced me to a couple short films that I've loved.
Yeah.
So
there's some great ones out there.
Definitely.
And
so that's the end of my rant on the roulette. What's yours?
Well, that's interesting. I hearing your discussion on that one, man. There's a lot of similarities. I pinged on with the movie I recovered. So, this is a movie I did see out and about probably while me and you were hunting, and I looked at the cover and I just fell in love with the cover. And then the fact of the matter is the title's pretty sick. Cover's fucking awesome. The killer looks fucking fantastic. I'm like, this has got to be great. It's a super low budget horror slasher film. But it's 2014's Blood Widow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is, like I said, this is the look of the Blood Widow. She's got like a I don't know if any of our listeners out there has ever played Twisted Metal Black, but there's a character named Dollface in that game, and she's got like kind of a similar kind of look, the porcelain like doll mask, but our Blood Widow wears that's her mask, and it is a female killer, which is really cool. I dig the hell out of that. And like she wears like this S&M kind of get up, this leather and stuff like that. And she's got a really good get up. It's one of my favorite aspects of the movie, actually, is the look of the killer. I think it's fantastic. There's like super like dark circles underneath the eyes, but you never see her eyes or anything like that. And that's another thing I love about this movie is they never show her face. You don't know what she looks like. And I don't want to unmask my killer. I want to keep it like kind of, vague, and don't know who or what she looks like or anything like that. I dug the hell out of that too. But basically the simple short of it is we get our two characters, Lori and Hugh, who are a young couple, but they're buying a house in the middle of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to fix up the house, and they're buying it from an older couple, and it turns out to be a property that's really, really close to this house. It's right beside it, actually, that is seemingly abandoned, and it's been abandoned for a while. There's a backstory where there's a tragic event that happened, where there was a massacre that happened in the property, and really the only survivor of that massacre was a little girl. This used to be a boarding house. Let me preference that. This used to be a boarding house next to this property that they're buying. And there's a tragic backstory, and little girl was a survivor, and seemingly abandoned. The older couple that sells them the house neglects to tell them anything about this, which is really interesting. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to disclose information like that, but they just said, fuck it. We don't really need to tell them that, so you can sell this house and be done with it. But yeah, so they sell this house for a fixer-upper. And I think the funny thing is, like, the house that they're buying, that's a fixer-upper house, it doesn't look like there needs to be any work done to it at all. It looks fine, but they keep calling it a fixer-upper house. They need to do so much work to it. I just think it's hilarious because it looks like a furnished house. Like it needs to be worked on at all. But
I remember it looked like a very rugged farmhouse.
it looks like a farmhouse. Like
Yeah.
it's got like a wraparound porch. It's really nice. But so when Lori and Hugh get there, we find out like Hugh's kind of like an immature guy. He bought the house and he wants to party at it. And she's thinking that, hey, he's buying the house so they can start like a family and start getting serious about their relationship. Turns out not to be the case. He just wants to party with his friends. He wants to have a party house. So that's more or less what he's in it for. And so you can tell that they're kind of on different terms in their relationship, and they start to argue and not get along too well. But Hugh, without Lori's knowledge, invites all their friends out there so they can start a housewarming party or have like this big shindig. So a couple of their friends, Mark, Kenny, Amber, and this really cool hippie chick named Harmony, go out there and welcome them there, or they think, oh, this is great. We got to check out your house. We got to see what it's all about. Eventually, they all split off and go to this abandoned house that's next door because they're super curious about, of course, very tropey. They want to explore. They want to see what this is all about because it's abandoned. So they go in there and they just really start being assholes. They start breaking shit. They start pissing on it. The guys start pissing on everything, and they just are really, really dickheads about it. And basically, we find out that the house is not completely abandoned. There's somebody that's in this house that lives in the attic or the basement, excuse me. And she's not too pleased about how they're trashing her house. So she goes on this killing spree that's basically the simple plot. Very, very simple, very minimal. Not too much in that aspect. But the things I love about this movie are, of course, the look of the killer. The Blood Widow herself looks amazing. She's got the sickle that she'll use to kill, and it's really, really like, there's a lot of like hand trauma. She cuts off a lot of hands, which is really cool, and the effects look amazing. And I know this is a super low budget film, so the fact of the matter that the effects look so good. I mean, they're quick cut edits and stuff like that, so you don't see a lot, but what you do see in that small amount of time is really, really effective gore. The characters are just super one note. They're very, very, bland, and it's one of those things where it's like, you don't relate with the characters. They're not exciting characters. There's not really good dialogue. There's not, anything special. There is one character in particular who I absolutely love, and that's the Harmony girl, who's like this hippie chick. She's really, really cute. She carries around a Buddha statue that's yay big, and she calls him Mr. Buddha, and she hangs out with him all the time. As soon as she gets there, she wants to start sketching the house because she likes the aura of the house and everything like that. So she's a really cool hippie chick. She was my favorite character. She was the only one that really had character. Like, all the other characters are just bland, but she was like the standout character. And unfortunately, she's the first character that dies. So it's like, damn, you kill off your best character early on in the movie. It's like, why? But she, when the party's going on, she drops like acid, and she's really into this Kenny dude. So she's trying to get him to go over to the field, and drop acid with her. So she gives him a hit of acid, and she finds out that this slutty girl named Amber walks up on Kenny and just starts kissing on Kenny, making out with him and stuff like that. And she kind of gets like her feelings hurt and stuff like that. So she runs off. It gives her an excuse to be alone so the killer can pick her off easy. I mean, she does have one of the coolest death scenes in the movie too. Honestly, it's probably one of, if not the best death scene in the movie. But you get you don't get just like blood. There's a difference between blood and gore. You get gore in this movie. There's like some intestines that get ripped out, and yeah, there's a ample amount of gore in this movie for it being so low budget. The fact of the matter is they really handled the effects well. There's a really nasty, like, when a character's trying to run away, the floor gives out from under them and their legs break, and it's a
Oh.
really nasty. It kind of caught me off guard. I didn't expect it. I'm like, oh shit, that was really effective. I was like, damn, like that kind of caught me off guard. Didn't expect for that to look like that, but and I don't really say this a lot, but the Foley effects in this movie were really good too. Like the sounds, of the Blood Widow cutting into people and stuff like that were really nasty and really effective. They really, like, not lessened the impact, but made the impact more impactful. To be honest with you, yeah, we have a setup to where, so our lead character, or one of the leads, Hugh, the boyfriend, he's like, they're unpacking their stuff, and his girlfriend's like, what the fuck is this? And it's like a crossbow. He's like, oh yeah, I bought that. I thought it was pretty cool. And she's like, well, you need to put that the fuck away. We don't need a bunch of like drunk people around here, trying to get into your crossbow and start shooting that shit, and somebody's going to get hurt. So when they brought that out, I'm like, that's going to come into play later in the movie. I have a feeling. You just don't pull out a crossbow in a slasher film and expect for that not to come into play at some point. And of course it does. Our lead character's like telling him, hey, that was stupid. Like, why'd you buy that? This is snap. But it turns out that she ends up needing that or using that later on. So it's like, oh, it's ironic. You bitch complain about this thing, and then at the end of the movie, you try to use it and defend yourself with it. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I guess the boyfriend was good at doing something.
Yeah, right. Like he did one thing right at least. But yeah, man, like I said, the lighting in this movie is not the best, and I do it does hinder a lot. You can't see like a lot of things that's going on. It really, the low budget does show. There's some questionable editing. Like there's a scene where the party's going on, and then all of a sudden, it just ends, and then there's like there's people that die at the party that are never mentioned again, but their car is there. So the characters are like, whose car is that? And they're trying to figure out whose car is left over, and they notice that Harmony's not there. It's like, oh, they all must have pulled together and rode with somebody else, and they'll be back later for the car or whatever. But the kill happens outside by the vehicles. There's no blood or anything like that. I know it's nitpicky, but there's no blood or anything like that to kind of give somebody a notice that, hey, something happened while the party was going on. Some people are dead. Which kill that happens, I'm trying not to spoil too much. I don't want people to know every kill that happens in the movie, but it's a fucking wicked kill. Kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh shit! Like if you blink, you'll miss it. So, yeah, I did do. What I do with us covering our slasher films in this summer slasher series, I want to do a kill count with every one of my movies that I do. So I went ahead and tallied all the kills in this movie, and what I tallied was about 10 kills, all of which amazingly are on screen. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. I figured there would be some off-screen kills here and there, but no, you really get all the kills on screen, and a lot of them are super good actually. Kind of takes you like by surprise how awesome they are. There's one scene where the Blood Widow's like hanging outside the window of a house, and two characters one character's lowering another character down the window so she can get to the bottom, and the Blood Widow just cuts the dude's hands off that's lowering her down, and he pops back up, his hands are gone, and you see the hands fall and shit like that. It's really cool. Kind of caught me off guard. I don't know how practical that is, because I don't know what she's holding onto on the side of the house to make that happen, but whatever. she's just like Spider-Man hanging out on the side of the house. I don't know how the fuck she did it, but yeah, I love the way, like, there's a scene where she's like sharpening her blades and stuff like that, which is really neat. She has a cool little lair that's like this attic in this abandoned house, and it's just like a table of her shit, and she's just like sharpening the blades and stuff like that. It's really ominous, and the shots of her, like when she's looking and stuff like that, you don't see anything behind the eyes. It's really, really fascinating. I love that. I love the shots of her all in the movie that they were able to get like a profile, because she looks so fucking badass, man. I'm hoping that they give her another movie, because just it's possible that they could give her another movie. I did see on IMDb that they do have an IMDb page for a Blood Widow too, so I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if that's actually a thing or if someone made it up. I don't know. But it would be really cool if they did do a sequel to this. Honestly.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, she's just so iconic, man. She
Mhm.
looks cool. She's all in black. She's got the porcelain face. I mean, she's just there's black underneath it. I think I've said that already, but still, it looks like it's a good aesthetic for her. And her bladed weapons are sweet, like they're really cool. I just dig the hell out of her as a character. She's one of the best things. The gore is pretty good. The fact that it's not really a comedic slasher film. They take the subject matter really seriously, and there's not a lot of comedy. But at the end, it's just so blunt and just so unassuming, and I love that about it. I just love how, it's hard to talk about. I really want to talk about what happens, because they kind of break a trope in slasher films, and I want to kind of discuss that, but I also don't want to ruin it for anybody that really wants to see this. But they do break a trope or a rule of slasher films, and I thought it was really cool. I didn't expect it when I first saw this. This is like my second or third viewing of this movie, so I saw it coming this time around, but at the first time I saw it, I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that happen. I didn't see that at all. I didn't know they were going to set it up for that, but I don't know, man. The lighting's really rough sometimes. The characters are bland as hell. I really just did not connect with the characters whatsoever, except for Harmony. She was the only exception to that. She was really, really cool. She was super cute. She's really happy and like just a cool hippie chick. And she was a redhead. That's a plus. But yeah, man. I for the most part, it's not like a mind-blowing slasher film. It's not going to change the game. It's not going to, it's not going to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. But it is like super cool villain. I have to give it that. Just she's fucking awesome. The Blood Widow is awesome. She needs more movies. She needs a chance to just go completely ham and just kill so many people.
Maybe a small franchise.
Surprisingly, to me, was 10. I thought it was pretty high. I didn't expect it to be that high when I first saw this. Damn,
Yeah.
there's a lot more kills in this than you would think. I mean, for a low budget film like this, I mean, because usually the thing with low budget slasher films is they mask the high body count with like off screen kills, so they add to the body count while not showing you the actual kills in the movie. This one did. This one showed every one of them, and I was like really, really surprised, and I commend it for that. I think it's really cool that they were able to do that. But at the end of the day, man, I had fun with it. It's like I said, it's not the best slasher film I've seen. It was made in the heyday of like the slasher revival from like 2013 or 12 to like 2008 or 2018. There was a huge revival, and they were pumping them out left and right. And this kind of in the middle of that cycle.
Yeah.
It kind of came, and it didn't really. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. For obvious reasons. It is a lower budget film, and it's lower budget shows. There's a lot of technical aspects that aren't good here at all, to be honest with you. There's some questionable decisions by the characters. I mean, which you would typically see at a slasher film, characters making dumb decisions and just doing stupid shit. You get that. It's become a trope, though, so you expect that anyway. But yeah, at the end of the day, I give it when I sat down and rated it on Letterboxd, I gave it a 2.5. I think for the kills and the Blood Widow herself, those are the main draws to this movie. But other than that, the lighting, the characters, all that stuff is really, really bad. Not effective whatsoever. But if you just want to turn your brain off and have fun watching a slasher film, this is the one you pop in, because the kills are there and they're all on screen. So you don't miss out on anything like that.
I remember watching this film, and actually, I don't know if you turned me on to this film or if I picked it up. I know I picked it up at Manifest, and I believe I was with you, and you were like, "Oh yeah, this is a good little film. You should get it."
Yeah.
So, and I remember viewing it shortly after I bought it. But I remember, 'cause it's been years since I've seen it, but I do remember. I remember how badass she was and how energetic she was. I just remember her like almost like acrobatic as fuck, you know. I remember her like jumping around and shit, almost like she was like a fucking ninja killer or something.
She is, man. Like when she's on the side of the house, I don't know how the fuck she did that, but 'cause the way the camera angle looked, it kind of like cut her off, so you couldn't really see it. And I think that was by design, so
Yeah.
hide like the rig or whatever they had her on. But I guess in the movie's logic, she's like outside of a windowsill, maybe. I don't know. Which makes sense. But she is like super fucking badass. She's like an assassin almost.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, there's a scene when she's like our final girl. She's kind of like torturing her. She's got this really really cool like cat o' nine tails whip, but it's got like hooks on it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So she like starts smacking the final girl on the legs with the hooks, and it's like cutting into her and stuff like that. And while she's like screaming out and crying out, the Blood Widow's like taking pictures of her, and like leaving the camera for her boyfriend and her friends to find to know that she's still there, she's not dead, and that she's being tortured. Just a draw to bring them in so she can kill them when they come into her domain, which is really she'll go back and forth. And yeah, dude, it's and another thing I wanted to mention that you have like a bevy of characters that aren't like you have an Asian dude and you have this like Spanish dude, and it's not like your prototypical characters in a way. There's like a little bit of I don't know. It's interesting to see. You don't really see that too often. But yeah, it's like I said, I have fun with it. It's not the greatest thing in the world, obviously, but it's also not the worst thing I've ever seen either. It's right there, kind of on the lower tier, but it's still pretty good. Like I said, if the Blood Widow didn't look as badass as she did, and the kills were like off screen and there's no gore, this would be a awful movie, terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, the Blood Widow is cool. She's badass. You get those kills. Well, I mean, I don't think you get. There's no nudity in this. Well, I think there is one shot. Yeah. There is a shot of nudity in this movie. So you definitely get that. That's another thing with slashers. You got to have some nudity in there somewhere.
Yeah, mine didn't have any nudity.
Yeah, it checks that box. Oh, it didn't. I can't remember if it did or not.
Not.
To be honest with you, the only thing I remember about that movie was two girls arguing back and forth all the fucking time. That's the only thing I remember. Like constantly going back and forth with each other. Yeah, man. Like I said, I recommend it for people out there that want to watch every slasher film they can. They want to get their hands on every one that they can. But if you're a casual slasher fan and you just really just want to see one every once in a while, this probably isn't the one for you, unless the premise of on-screen kills and the fact that the killer looks so badass. I mean, if that works for you, then you're probably going to want to see it. But
I need to revisit this because I honestly like I felt like I really enjoyed this film actually when I watched it.
Yeah, like I said, it's not bad. Like I said,
I think maybe more so I enjoyed the killer and like her being such a badass with those. I remember her like fucking people up with blades and shit.
No, I like
that.
Have like a female killer who could be an icon. Like her look is so iconic. It's so badass. Like she just needs some more movies under her belt. And like I said, I didn't even notice that till today when I was looking up the IMDb. Just kind of I was trying to figure out the budget and everything like that, whether the director has done anything else or whatever. But I did see the Blood Widow 2 on IMDb. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that's a thing or it's like in development hell. I don't know, but fascinating.
look at it this way: we're still waiting on an Orphan Killer 2.
Oh yeah. So like I said, it's
And I know that was in production.
yeah. So I don't know what's up with that one. I don't know with the Blood Widow 2 is could be a possible thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would serve the character really well if they continued on sequels and they got better. They worked with they gave, I think the thing that hinders this movie is this low budget. It's you can tell it's a low budget film. There's not a lot. You don't get a lot of locations, mainly a one location shoot. The acting is just bland as hell. There's no character with these characters. They're so boring.
Makes it easy for them to be picked off, though.
Right. The only one that has character is Harmony. She's the coolest one. She has the coolest kill in the movie, and it's just a shame that she's the first one to die. I would have rather her
survival girl.
Well, yeah, even the final girl. I wish she would have at least survived to the end, so we could get more from her character. I like her character; she was the best. Unfortunately, they killed their best character off early on in the movie. So.
Yeah. Oh no, I dug that. I need to revisit that film.
Yeah, dude, I would say you should check it out again. I'm kind of curious what you would rate it and what you would think.
I might
kind of similar critiques that I do with it.
I might watch it over the weekend. Give it a watch.
Like I said, it's fun. And it's another one of those movies that's really it's got a shorter runtime. I think it clocks in at about an hour 25 minutes. Not long. It kind of flies by, mainly because the kills are so cool. I mean, you get, like I said, a lot of hands getting chopped off.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, since you I figured it up in my head how many kills were in my film, and that was 6.
Nice. Okay. So, pretty decent body count.
Yeah, you want to keep track of body count through the next couple months of the slasher series. I'm game for it because I'm curious.
I kind of wish we did that in the first summer slasher series we did, because I kind of like the idea of a body count. So that way people know. I mean, when we talk about slasher films, what do people want to know? How many kills there are?
Yeah.
Are they on screen? Are they off screen? What's the killer look like? Has he got a cool mask? Has he got a cool look? These are the things that people want to know. Is there nudity? Do you see a lot of TNA? I mean, these are the things people want to know when it comes to a slasher movie. So, this one's got a pretty high body count. I'm actually surprised.
Oh yeah. Well, you got anything else you want to add to that?
I think I covered everything I needed to on this one. Like I said, there's not a lot to the plot. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's like I said, same for mine. Yeah, I wish it was a better film.
I just wish they tweaked a couple things with this one, and it could have made it a really special, really special slasher film.
Well, I'll watch it this weekend and then give it an honorable mention on the next episode on what my rating is on it. Because you got me wanting to watch it again.
Yeah.
So that works.
Kills are great, man.
Oh yeah. Well, you ready to land it then?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, we appreciate you. Well, hold on, Tony. Did you say you checked it out and seen if there was if Blood Widow was on any sites or anything like that?
I'm almost 100% sure it's on Tubi, but because I remember looking it up on Tubi one time and I saw it on there, so it should be on Tubi. But if it's not, then it's probably on Prime. I know
Shudder.
it's out there though.
Yeah, it might even be on Shudder.
Could be.
There's a lot on Shudder.
Yeah, Shudder's great.
Yeah, I love Shudder.
Shudder for people out there. If you want to delve into some horror, that's the best way to do it.
It's like having a movie collection without actually having a movie collection.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of good options out there.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and land the plane at this point. We've enjoyed covering our first ever part of the slasher series, or I guess first episode of the slasher series, and this is the Roulette episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope we didn't ruin anything for you with these films. We hope that you go check them out. I think Tony said that you would get a good rise out of it a little if you watched it. It kind of teeters in between whether it's good or bad. Mine was kind of bad. So, but still, if you wanted to have a good time watching a B slasher film in a skating rink, by no means, go check it out. But yeah, make sure that you head over to our Facebook group. It is a closed group. You ask, we'll let you in, and just join in on the fun and conversation. And guys, make sure that you leave comments on these episodes. We would love to read them and communicate back with you on your, especially like these roulette episodes. Especially if you've seen these two films, you want to critique them with us. By no means, did you like them? Did you not like them? Did you hate them? What didn't you like about them? So just leave a comment down below on those, and make sure you tell your friends and family and everything that we exist, and keep us rolling, guys. Tony, you want to add anything to that?
Don't, man. I would love to hear discussions on these. If listeners out there have seen them, they like to get their opinion out there. We'd love to hear it. See if we relate on some things, see if we differ on some things. Either way, like I said, me and Corey both understand that everything's an opinion. Everybody has one. We're not going to dog anybody out for their opinions. We're not going to critique you for your opinions. We're just have a simple discussion on what works and what doesn't work for films that we watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fun, interesting conversation. We're not the typical, we're not dickheads that are going to like razz on you for your opinion. Like,
no.
Everyone's got one. We understand that. I'll go through and watch like lists of people's. I'll just throw it out there, like the Friday the 13th ranking videos. People do the rankings on which ones are the best and which ones are the worst. There's some people I don't agree with their list at all, but I'm not going to shit on them for it. That's their opinion.
Yeah.
They bring out good points to why they like these films more than some other ones that I like more, or vice versa. But like I said, the end of the day, it's all an opinion. They're all movies. We're just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, if you guys feel comfortable enough, if you want to, please leave a message, leave a discussion either on our YouTube, come join our Facebook group, start a conversation in there, do a post. We'll have a good time.
Definitely. Well put. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed it. Later, guys.
Later, guys.